Good morning. It's Lorena again. It seems like it's been forever, but it really hasn't. Welcome to summer, and we're going to be doing, well, I'm going to be doing during the summer crafts dealing with folk tales. And so I wanted to show you next week, I'm doing a craft about this book. It's the Basi Gallito, and it's a Hispanic folk tale. So that's what we're doing next week. And then for the kids' craft, it's a little pom pom rooster. And then for the adults, and the kids can help, it will be a sand painting of a rooster. Okay, and you'll get your sand and glue and all that. So that will be for next week. Today, I'm focusing on Baby Rattlesnake. And it is a story that was told by a Chickasaw storyteller, and she was born in Oklahoma. Her name was Teata, which means bearer of the morning. So this is the one that I'm kind of focusing on, and we're going to be doing a little rattlesnake. I don't know if you can hear that, but it rattles there. So I know I only have a couple kits left, I believe. But some of you might have already picked up the kit and will watch this later or watching right now. But you have all your stuff in here. You'll just need your glue and your scissors. Before we get started on that, I also have a kit for a Native American game. There's instructions in it, so I'm not going to go over it too much. But you'll have all these popsicle sticks. And you're going to do a design on one side. So you leave one side blank, do a design on the other side. And then you'll have them all done, but you'll drop them down, and however many, let me put that so you can see it, however many are facing up or down determines how many points you get, and that's where you get your coins. And then the person with all the coins at the end of the game wins. So you can come up with any pattern or anything that you want with that. You could do this at home without even picking up a kit. You just need, I believe it was 6 sticks. And then I think there's 10 coins there. But if we run out of these kits, you can get a hold of me and I can print out the instructions for you. So there's that one. So let's get started on our snake. I just think he's so cute. Okay, so you've got your big eyes there, you've got your forked tongue, and we're going to be braiding, okay? So I'm going to move my other stuff out of the way here. All the kits have this pattern piece and a piece of denim, so a piece of jeans. I went ahead and cut my pattern piece out and traced it onto my jean. And you could do it that way, or you could pin it down and cut it that way. Let me move it down here so you can see a little bit better. So you could pin it and cut it out that way. I just think it's easier to trace it, and then I'm gonna cut it out. A good pair of scissors is something good to have. So sewing scissors are really good for all of this. So let me get that real quick. So while I'm cutting this out, I'm going to tell you a little bit about baby rattlesnake. So if you don't know, baby rattlesnakes are not born with rattles. And so this little baby rattlesnake was upset because he did not have a rattle. And his brother and sister did. They were older. His brother and sister did, and mom and dad did. And so he cried. And I don't know how many of you cry when you don't get what you want. I know sometimes even adults do, right? So this little rattlesnake cried and cried and cried, was getting everybody upset. So they decided to give baby rattlesnake a fake rattle. But they kind of tried to warn him. But you know what? How many times do you listen? So this little rattlesnake decided he was going to go out and play pranks and scare people. First, he scared the animals, and then he wanted to scare a person. Well, what do you think happens when you scare a person if you're a rattlesnake? Well, luckily she didn't kill him, but she stomped on him and broke his rattle. And he went back and he was all sad, and his parents comforted him, but the story is telling us about when you get something that you're not ready for. And I know sometimes in life we do that. We get something that maybe we're not ready for and it doesn't turn out so well. So sometimes we have to be patient and wait for what we need coming. Say, like, if you're wanting to drive, if you start driving and you're not ready to drive, you could get hurt or hurt someone else. So just got to kind of be patient with those things. So what I'm going to do now, I have this cut out. I'm going to take and I'm going to cut it down twice. So I'm going to have 3 strips. Okay, so it's about 1 inch. I'm not going to mark mine. If you want to mark yours, that's okay. I don't mind if mine's a little crooked. But I'm going to cut it down to the base of the head there. I'll do this one and then I'll kind of show you. So kind of right up to the top there. Okay, now I'm going to do another one. And if you have trouble cutting straight, you might just mark your lines with a ruler or something, and then you can cut on the lines. I recommend putting your marks on the back side of the fabric. That way you're not going to have marks on the front side. So I would mark it on the back. Kind of looks like a jellyfish now, but it's our snake. So what I'm going to do is, I've got a piece of tape here. I'm going to tape the head down to the table, and hopefully it'll work for me on this table. Okay, so let's go this way here so you can kind of see. So I'm going to start braiding. So I'll bring one over the center. So I'm bringing the far right one over to the center, and then I'm going to take the far left one and go over. And then I'm going to go under. Oh, I'm doing it wrong. It's weird doing it like this. So then I'm going to take this bottom one that's on the right-hand side, go over the one that's coming from the other side. And then the one from the middle is going to go back in the middle over the other one. I know it's kind of confusing. Hopefully you know how to braid. So you're just going to kind of keep overlapping. And you don't want to do it too tight. I mean, you could if you wanted, but I do mine kind of loose. And so I know you notice on this, some of them turn the other way again, and that's okay. You can always kind of flip them back over. So I'm going to continue braiding until I have just a couple inches at the bottom here. That's probably good. So I'm going to bring them together. I'm going to hold on to that for a second because I want to show you. This was a little plastic container. It had like a powdered juice drink or something in it, and it's got a cap on it. So what I did is I filled it with, well, not filled it, about 2/3 with popcorn. And that's what makes my sound. And then we had some duct tape that kind of looked about the color that a rattle might be on a rattlesnake. And so I filled that. That's going to be our fake rattle. And so I'm going to put it underneath the end of, I'm going to put it all the way up because you really don't want to see it. Well, I guess you could see a little bit, but however you want to do that. But I'm going to put it underneath, and then each kit has a rubber band, and I'm going to take the rubber band and just hold that on there. And you could move your rubber band so it's not all in one spot. Maybe that might make it look kind of like a little rattle or something there. Okay. So now there's your braiding. So now I'm gonna undo the tape there. And I took off some of my jeans. So I want to get rid of some of that white there. I'm just gonna trim it down just a little. Okay. So there's your snake there. All of them have a piece of ribbon. Kind of a long piece, but what you can do is kind of fold it, make it a little bit thicker, and put it underneath where the neck is there. I was thinking about it today. If you wanted it down at the bottom by the tail, you could do that too. I just kind of liked it up here at the top. And then it kind of keeps the braid there and all of that. So I'm going to tie that. And you don't even have to do a bow with this if you don't want to, because this pretty ribbon, you could just kind of, since it's folded and you've got so many of them, you could just cut the ends. Get that in there. That's the problem with trying to do it with a whole bunch of folds. It doesn't want to. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I think on this one, I'm just going to cut the ends of it and just let it kind of flop over there. So that's kind of cute. I've bent your wire to look like a little tongue there. I'm going to flip the head over here. I'm going to put a little bit of, I like doing this because hot glue doesn't always hold long, but it holds quick. So what I want to do is I want to take a little bit of the tacky glue, and then I'm going to put some on there, and then I'm going to set this down on there. Now that won't dry right away. So that's where I get my hot glue. And now I'm going to use hot glue to hold it quick. So the hot glue will hold it down, and then it'll allow the tacky glue to dry. So we'll give it just a second here so it can cool and harden there. And we're going to do the same thing with the eyes. Let's let this get situated first. But yeah, for the summer, for mine, we'll do the folk tales. So we'll have the Basigayito, and then in July, it's Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters, and it's an African Cinderella story, basically. And it's kind of cute. And then the last one I'll do will be Paul Bunyan. And for those of you that don't know, I mean, he's a folk character that created different. He was huge, and he had a big blue ox named Babe, and he created different things. And what we're going to do is we have, for one of them, we have Babe the Blue Ox, a little craft for the kids, and then the other craft will be the Grand Canyon in a jar, because it said that he drug his axe and it created the Grand Canyon. So those are just some of the stuff we're going to be doing over the summer. Let me see. It's still kind of tacky there. I'm going to turn it over, though. I'm not going to set it all the way down. But what I will do is that under there to hold it up. I'm going to put a little bit of the tacky glue kind of in the center of there. And then I'm going to take the hot glue. And I'm going to glue that down. So do the same thing with the other one. Some of the tacky glue. Take some of the hot glue. there we go. We have our baby rattlesnake. Okay, so if you wanted a kit and I didn't have any kits left, get a hold of me and I can get you the pattern that you can trace, and just get some old jeans, get some big Google eyes and some wire, and the rattle you might have to figure out if you don't have one of those little containers. Anything that you can put something like rice or beans or popcorn, something like that in. And yeah, not popped popcorn, of course. And that's it. That's how easy it is. So just remember that sometimes we're not ready for things, and we need to make sure we're ready before we get them. So there's always a right time and a wrong time. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in 2 weeks with the Bossy Gallito.